Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question asks if I can analyze the Red Table Talk video featuring Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. On July 10, 2020, 48-year-old Jada Pinkett Smith and 51-year-old Will Smith appeared on the Facebook Watch show Red Table Talk. Jada and Will are both actors. They actually have many jobs. We see producing movies and singing and all kinds of things. They were married on New Year's Eve in 1997. It had been reported that they had some difficulties in the relationship, and during this video, we see this becomes the topic of discussion. In July 2015, Jada met a musician named August Alsina. Evidently, he was sick at the time and she was trying to help him. Jada and Will became separated at some point before Jada and August entered into what Jada referred to as an entanglement. From the discussion, we see that Jada and Will seemed upset that the media reported false information about them. They said that it was nobody's business, yet here they are on a public video talking about their personal affairs. I guess the idea was to set the record straight, but I feel like this interview raised a number of questions and only increased the media's interest in the couple. So I'm going to go through a few items that stood out to me in this discussion between Jada and Will. I've also factored in some statements they've made prior to this. There seems to be a theme in this interview and from prior statements indicating that Jada is trying to figure out how to be happy, maybe having some type of midlife crisis and trying to find some type of purpose and direction in her life. She said that she hadn't felt good in a long time, and that's what she was looking for. She wanted to help heal someone. She also said she was codependent. Jada and Will's relationship had essentially failed. They were making attempts to rebuild it. It wasn't necessarily going well. They were young when they got together. They learned a lot. They were just having trouble turning the corner as they redefined their relationship. Jada had previously said she felt constricted and needed more freedom, which seems to match the theme of this discussion. Now, moving away from their specific situation and looking at this in more general terms, I've seen many times where one or both people in a marriage have this mentality or feeling. The marriage is not enough, they are not happy, they need more, they deserve more out of life, they're entitled to happiness. Although I understand the feelings, this is typically a bad sign for a relationship. A number of affairs occur because of this type of thinking. There's the sense that Jada and Will don't have a good grasp on how marriage is defined, or for that matter, what makes a marriage successful. Not that they can't make it work, it's just that their understanding seems to deviate from the norm. We see this reference to marriage containing unconditional love. Now, there are many different ways to conceptualize marriage. I'm not sure unconditional love is a good way to think about it. This suggests that one person will love the other person no matter what that other person does. And this may or may not be true, but a marriage can only survive if people follow the rules that they mutually agreed upon. Now, I suppose two people could set those rules, so the rules would be there are no rules. But most successful marriages don't have that type of strategy. Now, in addition to the lack of understanding of how a marriage works, they seem to have a view of marriage that is melancholy and predetermined, particularly Will's point of view. In an interview some time ago, Will said that his relationship with Jada was the most difficult, grueling, and excruciating thing they had ever taken on in their lives, adding that they were just not quitters. On a different occasion, when talking about the relationship, he said there were no deal breakers. There's nothing she could ever do that would break our relationship. She has my support until death. On top of this, we see their interesting phrase, ride together, die together, bad marriage for life, a reference to the Bad Boys movie franchise. So in just 3 references, we see the terms difficult, grueling, excruciating, death, die, and bad marriage. It would appear that there's no danger that Will Smith is going to inspire a whole generation of people to run out and get married. Here we see a depressing and fatalistic view of marriage. It's like a life sentence, and exposure to it results in one's destruction. In a way, their video becomes a teaching tool. It can be used to scare people out of the idea of marriage. The next item, the use of the word entanglement when the intended word was affair really shows potentially some evasiveness, a lack of ownership, and maybe some degree of manipulation. I can understand this being said in a humorous way, but Jada really said this in a serious way, and she only referred to it as a relationship when Will pressed the issue. She did say that she confronted emotional immaturity, and she learned a lot, so we see some progress there. There is this sense from the interview that Jada is really more dominant in that relationship, like the relationship is important to her, but it's more important to Will. Another way of putting it, she's more willing to walk away. In a marriage, the person who is more willing to walk away has more power. Many people, however, forget that having power is not the object of marriage. Something else here with this use of the word entanglement, we really don't see a lot of remorse. Now, one could argue that if the couple was separated, we don't really see anything that happens after that that could be right or wrong. If they're separated, they're not together, so they don't really owe each other anything. But in most situations, there would still be some remorse for this behavior. Another item is Will's affect, what he was expressing, what his emotions appeared to be from what we could see. He appeared to be quite hurt by the affair, and that pain wasn't really thoroughly acknowledged by Jada. Now, they could have had discussions outside of this talk, and I'm sure they did, but we don't really see Jada connecting with his feelings in this interview. Regardless of the circumstances of the affair, and again, I know they were separated and all that, it's very challenging to get past an affair. It's just not another normal occurrence in a marriage, although most marriages are affected by infidelity. So maybe people should essentially prepare for infidelity, as depressing as that may seem. I think that as I step back from watching this interview, my overall impression was that relationships like this are difficult to navigate. Everybody must work it out in their own way. But I feel like there was a lot they didn't talk about. As I mentioned, a lot of questions that they raised about the true nature of their relationship, the true arrangement they have established. Why exactly is this relationship so painful? I didn't walk away with the feeling that they really accomplished much in the discussion. They sort of expressed that they were toward the end of some successful journey, like they figured something out. But it really felt like they were at the beginning of a long road. I've talked before in other videos about the dangers that celebrities experience with fame and power. It can be hard for marriage to live up to all the other experiences that celebrities have. It can leave somebody feeling empty and yearning for excitement. Celebrities always have a lot of options. When these factors are coupled with a lack of insight and a sense of entitlement, which is common among celebrities, the result can be dysfunction. So marriages are challenging, and when celebrities get married, that adds, I think, in one way, even more stress. Even though it appears to add a lot of things that would make life easier, like wealth, that apparently is not enough for many people. So those are my thoughts on the Jada and Will Smith interview. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be interesting. Thanks for watching.